So I've already insisted before that it was very important to write readable code. Why is it important? Well, because then your code can be maintained more effectively, more accurately, so it prevents bugs. It can be fixed more easily. It can be reused more efficiently, and others can start adding to it as well. So really, you gain everything by producing readable code. And it's actually not very hard. You just have to think about it when you're writing the code. So this is also especially relevant for you in the course for two reasons. The first one is later on your projects will be group projects. So if you want to collaborate effectively with your teammates, you shouldn't just dump code to them saying it works. They need to be able to look at it and understand what it's doing. So that's the first aspect. And the second aspect is that I will also grade later on style. So this will probably outrage some of you, but style is really important. And I need to understand what you're doing in your program in order to be able to judge how difficult things were or how well you programmed it. So if I see you have made no effort to actually make your code readable, it will be a lot harder for me to grade it effectively. So this is all like just words in the air. How do you actually program in a more readable way? Well, Python developers have realized, I've told you, they've always insisted on this readability of code. So they've realized early on that they should also produce a style guide. So some guide on how to write readable code. And in Python, this is called pep8. Many languages have one, but in Python, it's called pep8. So if you Google it up, you will get to a page that describes this style guide, and you will see different parts of it. So first has to do with the code layout. Basically, where should you put spaces, how long should your lines be, and things like this. And not unrelated is white spaces in expressions and statements. How many do you need, and so on. Where to put comments and how to mark the comments, and naming conventions as well. So this, how should you name your different objects, and later on your classes, your methods, your attributes, things like this. So I really highly recommend that you look at this now and you look at it later when you can start making more sense of it, and you try to embrace those recommendations, not 100% because that's unrealistic, but you try to follow some of those rules. And if you follow some of those rules, believe me, things will be okay. I'll be able to read your code. Others will be able to read it and understand what it does. If you don't follow those rules, believe me, things will not be okay. It will be difficult for you to work with others. It will be difficult for you to develop your own code from day to day. So really, this is an iterative process. You should learn more about good practices and good practices for writing good code, and start using those, and then learn about more of those good practices and start using those again, and so on. So really, my recommendation is that you look now at pep8 and a little bit later again and again, and use that for your homework and for your projects.